how do you write down all the accomplishments and stuff that Scott's done?
It seems like throughout the country, Captain Scott Hardin is well known as like a leader in the industry of firefighter survival and truck company operations.
He's just a firefighter's firefighter. You know what I'm saying? He's what a lot of us would like to be.
Separate mold was made when he was brought in and everything else, and that's, nobody else has that mold, you know.
I guess if you look at all the things he was doing as a kid and as he started getting older, you could see he was going to gravitate towards something like the fire service. I mean, it's just him. I'm thinking it really started hitting him around 15 or 16, because once he joined the South Gastonia, it was like a light switch. He was all about it.
He was the chief at South Gastonia, and then he went to Chapel Grove, have an opportunity to be his deputy chief. When he was on an incident, I never had to worry about anything.
He knows what needs to be done, and he takes off and he's ready to go to work. So you got to keep up with him.
And his turnout gear, he does not look like an old man. I mean, he moves, and he's strong and fit and able in very, very harsh conditions.
It's hard to explain. It's like he's got an extra sense. He's got that sixth sense. He sees stuff on the fire ground that most people don't pick up on.
He's not a normal human being, dude. I mean, he's not. I can't explain him.
His love for the job is just so obvious, and it's kind of infectious. You know what I'm saying? You just want to be around him.
A lot of times an engine company or a ladder company, you'll have one person that'll be like a sore thumb, you know what I mean, and cause problems. 13 was a camaraderie you had never witnessed anywhere else.
You can't really describe it very well unless you've been here. It's just, it's a true brotherhood.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, that was some of the best times I can remember, is when we were firemen and we were here.
It was a pleasure to have him on the back of the truck, because he was there. I could always count on him, and there wasn't nothing that you asked him to do that he wouldn't give 100% to try to do.
But the big thing I remember about working with Scott every day was just getting that knowledge. He's so full of knowledge and just trying to get it out of his head.
It was every day he came to work, there was always something new that he had learned or picked up that made my job easy. I mean,
It made everybody's easier because it made you smarter.
Oh yeah.
Every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a dangerous job. We went into some dangerous situations, but we made sure that we looked after each other.
Oh, he always liked being on the back of the truck, didn't he?
He did.
He wanted to do that ladder work. That's all he talked about is ladder work.
Yeah, he wants to be the soldier. He don't want to be the general, you know, and I think a lot of people had to twist his arm to make captain.
That's where he needed to be in order to teach new firemen the skill and the craft, and to be able to bring and make good ladder firefighters, you know.
Scott was always involved in something. I know when he was off duty, he was firefighting with the Forestry Service.
We used to go out west on wildfires. We saw a lot of beautiful country. We got to go see the Sequoia National Forest together. So we got to see a lot of pretty places out west, and he was the one that talked me into doing that. I would have probably never done any wildland firefighting if it wouldn't have been for Scott. We had a lot of good times out there too.
You know, I try to think about it. I mean, it's like every time you see him, it's a story.
He always brings the laughter. He always makes us laugh.
Just super fun guy to be around, you know, and not what you'd expect from someone with his amount of experience and expertise.
He's got the right to be arrogant. He's got the right to be named one of the baddest ass firemen in the country, and you would never know it if you sat down and talked with him.
People see him you know, as I guess our lead instructor at breathing equipment school, and he's pretty much one of the head flashover guys and all that other stuff. What they don't see is a Tuesday morning where it's raining outside and he's rewiring boxes or fixing this or cleaning pallets up.
If anybody could say anything about him, I think his whole passion has been to make us safer for the future.
The things he does don't really benefit him. You know, it's all in the name of serving others.
If the students are dirty and filthy, he's right there beside them dirty and filthy. If he asks you to do something as a student, it's something that he will show you how to do. So he's led by example for a long time.
One of his best traits is his ability to show people by using his hands and being an example and not just talking about it.
Scott's got an ability to be completely in the moment with the folks that he's teaching, and I think that brings a lot of credibility to the things that he knows.
He is, in a combination, like the most humble dude you'll ever meet, but at the same time, one of the most experienced dudes you'll ever meet.
One of the things I always liked about Scott is that when he's teaching, he's in charge, you know what I mean? He teaches with the authority of somebody who knows what they're doing, but he also asks lots of questions. You know, how does this work in your district? What's your policy? You know, what do you guys do here that we don't know about in Charlotte? You know what I mean? He's always so curious. We all have the same big responsibility to take care of each other and to take care of the public.
In North Carolina, I mean, when it comes to firefighter safety and survival, he's the godfather in North Carolina when it comes to that. I mean, he's the one that pushed it, took the breathing equipment school, made it as big as it is. The guys don't come out there for none of us. They come out there because of Scott Hardin. His enthusiasm, his passion, and trying to teach you to be safe, he just sells it. He's got it.
The class that he's developed, you know, is nationally known. And I would say it's a pretty good class when you have a 2.5 year waiting list.
He changed the perception of it, I guess, and made it what it is today. And so the students attending are now from all over the country.
Like the way I look at the fire service is very much through the filter that I learned at that school of being comfortable in uncomfortable positions. So that was a huge blessing for me, getting to do that really early.
He's pretty much over the school. He assigns all the instructors for the different drills. His goal is to see everybody succeed.
He was good with his explanations, and he was just good with the students one-on-one, you know. The students couldn't help but like him.
He brings a good group of people. He surrounds himself with a good group of people.
It's like a family reunion for us twice a year. There's so many guys that work there from all over the state.
He comes in, he's highly requested to teach classes and stuff, and now he kind of travels all over the place teaching classes.
Probably in 2002, I think, we were building the training network, and then in August of '03 he came up for a class and kind of took it, but kind of helped with a little bit as well. And from that point on, it was you know, more classes every year, but it's brought us to Alaska, to Hawaii, to Japan, and many other states, and some of them, you know, a couple of times.
What sets this place apart from the others is the hands-on. Everything is in full gear, full air, you know, on air. They're doing everything as realistically possible that they would face on the street.
We rival anybody in the United States. I'd put us against anybody in the United States. There's guys like Scott. He's put his own fingerprint on that school, his own little way of doing things.
Jimmy's place is bigger than ever. I mean, he's actually runs most of the logistics of it.
He's my right-hand man when it comes to anything that's not necessarily the facility, but anything to do with the class running.
That's the beauty of it, is you don't have to worry about, like, everybody goes to Scott. Like, if you have a problem, you're like, hey, what do we got to do next? Find Scotty. Go ask Scotty. Because he's got that list down, he knows that next step to get it done.
Scott has kind of, by default, become the fire guy.
He likes to light the fires because he's a part pyromaniac. That's what he is.
The heat miser with the hair standing straight up, that's Scott to a T. Because you ever see how he takes his hat off? Yeah, he thinks he's got a great head of hair up there, it's all combed, but usually he's sticking all over the place, going every direction.
To find a relationship like all of us have together is pretty rare, because we're not just guys working and doing a job together, we're like brothers.
It's just nice because everybody gets along. We've known each other for so long. So we have a lot of fun joking around and stuff.
Of all the instructors that we have, everybody that help, I think Scott is the one that talks or reaches out to the students more than all of us probably combined. He's always interacting with all the students, which is one of the things I love about him.
Well, I think that everybody that knows him loves him, you know, and I think that that's just a big part of who he is.
I guess the first word that comes to mind is genuine. He's able to pass on this information where it's not just these guys went through a class, but they actually walked away understanding what were the objectives of that course.
You know, I think we're giving true to life training, and we're actually making a difference. We're keeping, you know, civilians and firefighters alike safe. I mean, there's no question about it, you know, and Scotty's a big reason for that.
And the coolest thing about all of them is if there's anybody that could carry chips on their shoulders and have this big old attitude for being so good, it's some of those guys, and they don't.
Everybody from every other city values everybody's opinion, and we have so much respect for each other. We treat each other equals. We always learn from each other. I've done something, Scott's taught me something. I think that's so genuine about Scott. You know, it's about helping that next guy.
And that is, you can see that when you take their class. You know, you can see how much the passion that they have, and we try to pass that passion on to newer members, newer firefighters.
The thing about it is everybody knows him, and he knows everybody.
Not many people that you read in the books about and look up to that Scott doesn't know on a first name basis.
I've tried to walk with him around FDIC before. I might see a guy every 15 minutes that I know. Scott can't make it 15 feet without seeing somebody he knows, you know, and it's pretty funny. Everybody knows him. And everybody wants to talk to him too. People will go out of their way when they see him. You can see him make a turn to go towards him, you know, because they seek Scott out.
It's fun to have conversation with him, but I usually have to do it twice because I can't remember if he's saying barbecue, Home Depot, NASCAR, or if he's what definitely he's throwing out there. So sometimes I got to get him to repeat.
You know, Scott's the same no matter what. You know, whether we're on a trip doing a class or we're at FDIC doing something or we're here at the training network, the one thing about him is he's just the same. It's the one attribute I think that a lot of us wish that we had, that we were just so even-keeled all the time.
He has these standards and he holds himself to those standards, and he's one of those guys that you just kind of wish you could be more like, you know.
Four was a good time.
Oh, it was amazing. It was great. I had a blast.
I don't think we had very many normal days there.
Always a lot of shenanigans going on.
I worked for him one night at 4 right after I made captain, and I opened up his desk drawer and he had like 15 knives laying in there and about 50 pairs of glasses. You know, that was all that was in his drawer, but he had his knife so whenever you made him mad he could get it out, and then he had his glasses so he could see.
There wasn't a day that went by that I didn't learn at least something little from him. Sometimes it was big stuff, sometimes it was just something little, and that was about life as well. You know, you learned a lot about from the fire service from him, but learned a lot about life as well.
Everybody in the city views him pretty much as the go-to guy for ladder company operations.
There's to me, no better compliment to fire service to know that that's the way people perceive you. Yeah, they don't say he's an okay guy or he's a good guy. He's like, yeah, he's that guy.
If you're gonna run a ladder company class and you attach his name to it, it's gonna be a sellout. He's always getting out in the area, getting on roofs of buildings, rigging the truck, or forcing doors, whatever. He always found us something to get into.
He rules the roost. He is a fireman's captain. He takes care of his guys.
You know, he's still at Station 4, one of the busiest companies and stations in the city, getting up and down all night. He's had plenty of other options. He's got plenty of seniority to do something different. You know, I don't think he's ever taken a chief's test. That's just not where he wants to be. You know, he don't want to be pushing the pencil. He wants to be cutting a roof or holding an axe or something more hands-on.
I think he's that epitome of a company officer that wants to make his company better. And if he can teach them what's really out in the streets so they can be prepared, everybody on that rig is either going to save a life, put a fire out, or get back on that rig safely and go home.
think of Scott, I think of him being a family man. He loves his kids and he loves his wife. And as much as he works, he has always made time out for those children. They hike, they enjoy camping.
The conversations we've had driving, 2 or 3 hours down the road to a class to teach, he's talking about, man, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna take Jackie and we're gonna go do this, or me and the boys are going to Yosemite, and you can be 100% involved in work and 100% involved at home too.
I mean, when you think about everything that he enjoys in life, it really is the good things in the world. You know what I mean? It's the beauty of nature, it's the beauty of family, it's the beauty of friends and fellowship.
He's one of the ones that always strive to be like one day, not just as a fireman, but as a man too.
When I think about people that you want your son to look up to and a mentor in life, I could not think of somebody better than Scott Hardin.
I think guys will try to be what he was, and it'd be pretty tough to do. I mean, he's a respected man, and his values and everything are so high, and I think that people will when his name comes up, they'll say, man, there's nobody else on the job like him.
At the Charlotte Fire Department, his legacy is massive. His way of doing things, his humble nature, his hard-working nature, he's impacted so many people, and I feel like truly that it's made the department better.
Scott's made an impact on this fire department. He's made an impact in Gaston County. He's made an impact to the fire service in this country.
There are a lot of firefighters who are better firefighters today because of Captain Hardin.
I can't imagine the thousands and thousands of people that Captain Hardin has instructed in the fire service.
I can only hope that I've done as well to leave a footprint on the fire department. Not just a thumbprint, but a footprint. Now, he's only got like a size 6 foot, so it ain't a big footprint, but a footprint in the fire service that he's left.
Scott's highly recognized and highly thought of among his peers. Everybody thinks he's the greatest. We actually honored him a couple years ago during our North Carolina Breathing Equipment School.
The saying is, out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't be there. 80 are just targets, 9 are real fighters, and we're lucky to have them for they make the battle.
All but the one. One's aboard. You can bring the others home.
That award wasn't college driven. That was some of the best instructors in the state wanted him to have something like that.
It was a big surprise the night that we presented. All of his family was here and his mom, and he had no clue. I mean, the Myers Center auditorium was full, firefighters and instructors and students from all over, and he had no clue. He was so humbled. He was kind of lost for words when he was recognized that night.
Truthfully, I don't know that there's anybody else that's on this staff that would ever be awarded it again. I mean, to me, that's a one-time deal. Nobody else can live up to that legacy.
When he decides to retire, the fire service is going to be it's going to be different. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a big hole that it's going to take several of us to fill.
We have a great group of instructors here. There'll never be another Scott.
He's definitely, in my eyes, is probably one of the top leaders in the fire service. He'll probably never say that, and he'll probably shake it off, but I'll put Scott against anybody.
To know Scott in the fire service is one thing, but to know him as a human being is the best part of it. The fire service is just a bonus.
I don't think this is a goodbye, it's just a new chapter.
Congratulations, Dad. We're so excited for you, for all the things you've been doing in your career. We're just so proud of you.
Yeah, Dad, proud of you, proud of who you become, who you made, the three of us. Even though we're not going to the fire service, we're still trying to be the little Scott Hardins of whatever it is that we do.
Hi, Daddy. Just want to say we love you and hope you have a good retirement and hope you find a lot of trails.